Alright, what's up everybody? Back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today we're going to talk about the last few days of free agency. I did a video about the first 3 days of NBA free agency. If you missed any of them, you can go check them out. And yeah, the last few days have been very, very quiet. There's been a few deals going on. Nothing that's really going to change the course of teams' directions or anything big like that. But there's been a few moves that I kind of want to talk about a little bit that I think have been very solid and just want to do a little recap in case you missed any of them. So yeah, we're going to do that. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do hit the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications to all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. Looking at analytics, a little bit less than 1% of you that actually watch the videos are subscribed. So, if you're watching the content, hit the subscribe button. It'd mean a whole lot. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So I think the biggest moves that's happened in the last few days of free agency probably happened yesterday, where Grant Williams, he was kind of, honestly, he might have been the top guy left in the market in the last few days. As a restricted free agent for the Celtics, came out the Celtics wanted a first-round pick for him. And eventually yesterday, a sign-in trade happened with the Boston Celtics and Grant Williams, where he will be a Dallas Maverick. It's a 3-team trade between the Mavericks, the Celtics, and the Spurs. The full trade is the Dallas Mavericks get Grant Williams on a 4-year, $53 million contract in a sign and trade. They also get 2 second-round picks. The Boston Celtics get 2 second-round picks, and the San Antonio Spurs get Reggie Bullock and an unprotected pick swap from the Mavericks in 2030. So it kind of was writing on the wall a little bit that the Celtics were going to let Grant Williams walk in restricted free agency because they brought in Porzingis and just didn't really, with the money and the new salary cap and stuff, they probably wouldn't be able to afford to bring back Grant Williams and re-sign Jaylen Brown if they wanted to, or do all this other stuff as well. So Grant Williams is kind of the odd man out, especially after he wanted money and he's restricted free agent. And a lot of teams were kind of looking at him. And so they signed and traded him to the Dallas Mavericks, which I think is a great move for Dallas. Again, Dallas, big problem last year was their defense. Their defense literally took them to the conference finals 2 years ago, and last year it was one of the worst in the league, especially after trading away their best defender, Dorian Finney-Smith, to get Kyrie Irving. And this free agency and all this, they really just locked down on that defense. Grant Williams is a pretty good defender. He's had some really good moments defensively, and he's been a really good three-point shooter. He hasn't really gotten a whole lot of opportunity. Well, not a whole lot of opportunity, but doesn't really get a lot of attempts. But if you give him 2 or 3 attempts again, he can definitely knock some three-pointers down. I think he'll be a really solid fit in Dallas. They need kind of guys like him, and they've been getting guys like that this entire offseason. And Grant Williams, I think, it's a really solid signing on a really decent contract. He's getting about $14 million a year, a little bit more than that, which is pretty solid for Grant Williams. I think that's pretty solid considering he's going to play kind of a bigger role as a 3-and-D guy with the Mavericks. For the Celtics, they get back 2 second-round picks. They've been really acquiring the second-round picks. Everything they've done the last few years has been getting second-round picks, and the reports are saying that they might be gearing up for a big move potentially down the line with all these second-round picks. They can use them maybe at the trade deadline. Trade deadline, usually a lot of second-round picks get thrown around for some decent role players, so maybe that's what they're doing. But they get 2 second-round picks. The Mavericks also get 2 second-round picks as well for taking on Grant Williams. And then the Spurs get Reggie Bullock, and they get a pick swap from Dallas in 2030. The Spurs are really just in here kind of just to, I don't really know, just for someone to take on Reggie Bullock, because I guess Celtics didn't want to take on Reggie Bullock's contract, so the Spurs took him on. I don't know if he's going to actually play for the Spurs or if he's going to get bought out or waived or whatever. But if he does stay, I mean, he's a 3-and-D player, really good three-point shooter, kind of streaky but pretty solid. The defensively is very solid as well. And then Spurs get a pick in 2030 out of it, I guess. But yeah, I really like this move for the Mavericks. They continue to stock up on these 3-and-D wings that they really need to surround Luka and Kyrie with. I think Grant Williams is a really solid guy to put on that team next to them. And speaking of Dallas, there were some more moves they almost did. Matisse Thybulle, they offered him a 3-year, $33 million max. Well, not max, but offer sheet, because Matisse Thybulle is a free agent. Restricted free agent, meaning the Blazers had 24 hours to match, and the Blazers will match the contract, bringing Matisse Thybulle back on a 3-year, $33 million deal with the player option. Honestly, was kind of surprised. I thought Portland was going to let Matisse Thybulle go to Dallas. I think he was another guy that really fit in for Dallas. I mean, defensively, he's really, really good. It's just offensively, he can't really do much. But Portland decides to bring him back. We really know what's going on in Portland with the whole Damian Lillard situation going on. So I was very surprised they brought back Matisse Thybulle. But I mean, I guess he's a young defender they could throw in there. Maybe they're waiting for next year, maybe to build up some trade value so they can trade him for something decent. I don't know what Matisse Thybulle is getting you back. But yeah, I was very surprised by Portland for doing this because Portland has a lot of other things in their mind right now. So I thought they would have just been like, yeah, you know what, Matisse, go ahead, you can go. But apparently they matched them. So yeah, good for him. He's getting some decent money. He would have fit really well in Dallas as well. But hey, he's going back to Portland now because restricted free agency is like that. You know. Some more deals. Milwaukee Bucks make moves the last few days, filling out their roster. A few days ago, they signed Robin Lopez and Malik Beasley both to one-year contracts. For Robin Lopez, he goes back to Milwaukee, where him and Brook Lopez are reunited together for the first time since 2020. And yeah, Robin Lopez is just a solid veteran backup big. He was with the Cavs last year, has some play some games. Did some regular Robin Lopez things. He goes to Milwaukee now to be with Brook Lopez, just another veteran on that team that can give him some solid minutes when they need to. And they also signed Malik Beasley to a minimum, which I think is an amazing get for Milwaukee. Malik Beasley kind of fell out of favor in the playoffs in the Lakers rotation after having a pretty solid year with Utah, and then when he first got to the Lakers, he was really, really good. He's a flamethrower. He's a guy that when he gets hot, he can knock down 6, 7 threes in a game. But he's also a guy where if his shot's not falling, he's not really doing much else on the court. So, but for Milwaukee, with so many pieces they have already out there, Malik Beasley doesn't really need to do much. All he needs to do is catch and shoot threes. That's all he needs to do. They have so many other guys that can take pressure off him and then get open looks for him. And yeah, the Bucks love their 3-point shooters. I said the Bucks, I think, led the league in 3-point shooting off the bench last year. And now they added one of the better 3-point shooters that's going to come off the bench. So yeah, those are two good moves. They also re-signed AJ Green today to a multi-year contract. He was an undrafted player they got last year, and yeah, he's gonna be there. So shout out to him for getting some money. Yeah, the Bucks are making some pretty solid moves, trying to get back into that championship mode. Another move that happened a few days ago was Mason Plumlee re-signing with the Clippers on a 1-year, $5 million contract. That kind of surprised me. I'm sure there's a lot of teams, especially playoff teams, going after Mason Plumlee. He's a very solid big man. He had a really good run with the Clippers last year, and he stays in LA with the Clippers. Only get $5 million. I probably could have got a little bit more money than that, but he chose to stay with the Clippers. I guess he thought that was his best chance of winning. And yeah, really good move for the Clippers. They got him and Russ back for pretty low contracts. And so yeah, he's gonna be in there. They need centers they like athletic centers like him, especially to kind of limit Zubac's minutes a little bit. So Mason Plumlee comes in and he played really solid last year with the Clippers. So it's a good move for the Clippers, taking him back. Speaking of big man, yesterday we had Mo Bamba, or actually a few days ago, right? Yeah, a few days ago. No, it's yesterday. So yesterday, Mo Bamba is going to the Philadelphia 76ers on a 1-year deal. Mo Bamba last year was traded to the Lakers. He didn't really get a lot of opportunity. He was injured and just didn't really get to show a lot. The Lakers waived him before free agency started. Now he goes to the 76ers to be a backup there. Said the Sixers because Paul Reed is a free agent and they still think they can keep Paul Reed, but just in case Paul Reed leaves, Mo Bamba will be kind of insurance there. And yeah, Mo Bamba just hasn't really had a great time so far in the NBA. He's shown a little bit, but just hasn't really gotten consistent playing time, consistent opportunity to show himself. But yeah, now he goes to Sixers on a limited role where he's backing up Joel. He come in, block some shots, hit some threes, do stuff like that. Solid signing for Philadelphia, but the Sixers obviously have bigger problems on their hands with James Harden and stuff like that. Other signings, Torrey Craig signs a 2-year deal with the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls were, I don't know if I think they were granted the disabled player exception for Lonzo Ball because he's not going to be able to play this year again with his knee injury. And so they go out and sign Torrey Craig. Yeah, just a solid wing. He had a really good year last year for the Suns, especially in the playoffs. The first round against the Clippers, he was on fire, but then just lost time in the rotation. And I'm surprised a playoff team like the Warriors, something like that, didn't really try to go after him. But instead, he goes to the Bulls on a pretty decent contract. And yeah, just a pretty solid wing that can defend multiple positions and knock down some threes. And every team needs that, so why not get there in Chicago? More deals that happen. Delano Banton signs a 2-year deal with the Boston Celtics. Very random one. I didn't even know he was a free agent, to be honest with you. But yeah, he goes to Celtics. Will he play? I don't know. He's a big point guard. Um, yeah, very. I want to see what he can do. And then Aaron Holiday today signed a 1-year deal with the Houston Rockets. Rockets just building up now on point guards. They traded away Ty Washington, so they got a third string point guard, Aaron Holiday, that I think is very solid when he does get some minutes. And yeah, those are all the small deals for the last few days of free agency. Most of this was about Grant Williams, obviously, because that was a big one. But yeah, some pretty solid moves by teams. Still have a lot of pretty good free agents left. That I'm very excited. Not excited, but very interested to see where they go and what teams offer them. Because at this point, they're probably gonna get lowballed with money. So yeah, I want to see what happens there, and then really, the whole NBA is kind of waiting on James Harden and Damian Lillard to see what they do. We're just keeping our eyes on those two situations right there. But yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, all stuff like that. Really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.